Good morning, everyone. It's Saturday, and we are going to do the Eaglemoss Build the Back to the Future DeLorean issue number 11. I did get my parts in, obviously. They came in later than I expected, but still on time, so no problems. This assembly is going to be some of the engine mount. It's a little tough to see it through the glossy plastic here, but this is going to go together and then go on the bit of frame that we have assembled. So, how's everybody's Saturday going? It's pretty warm out still. We spent the night out last night watching movies on the porch, and got our projector set up. That was fun. Watched Flight of the Navigator and Pacific Rim. So, we have an engine support piece, left and right supports. There's two mirror pieces, a couple of rods, and a few sets of screws. So what I really want to do is make sure I got the screws we need. HM, which kind of look like these are the HM screws. They kind of remind me of the CM screws from the Ecto 1. And then also, get it to focus, some DM screws. That's what we're supposed to have, so that's good. We'll get this going. So step one, take this frame and attach a couple little outrigger pieces on it. This is all so far cast iron. I think maybe this whole kit is. No, I guess these are plastic. Not cast iron, but die cast. But I do believe these little guys are plastic, which isn't surprising. Where to get that out of there? So, are these symmetrical? These two pieces do appear to be identical. So we've got two of these guys, these identical little, come on, focus, just little guys. And those are going to go on this frame piece with a couple of DM screws. So, what's new with everybody else? You still have a crazy pandemic going on. So, that's a thing. I don't know, I don't have a whole lot to talk about today, I guess. I don't have a lot running around in my head. So, I mean, it's a change for me, I guess. But, I don't know, geez, what's new in the world? Umbrella Academy Season 2 is pretty good. I haven't finished it yet, but I've been enjoying it so far. The music's pretty good. What else? The first 6 episodes of the new Transformers series are out on Netflix. I enjoyed them. I didn't think they were amazing, but it was fine. Fine for what it was. They're definitely doing like a very dark storyline, and that's cool. Whatever. It's not nearly as goofy as the classic show that I grew up with, and that's good. But it's a little overwrought. It's kind of neat to see them use, exact models of the toys for everything. That's cool. So we have 2 of these little pieces, and these are going to go on next. These are going to get secured with those much longer HM screws. And again, these appear to be symmetrical. So there doesn't seem like there's a left and a right, which is good. Makes it easier. And these do have a curve to them and a little pin sticking down. And it appears that the curve, they don't really show the pin very well in any of these pictures. In fact, they don't show the pin in any of these pictures that I can see. But they do show the curve, and the curve seems to point away from what I'm going to call the top of this, the screw side of this anyway. So, these are going to fit through somewhat like that. You can tell, curve down, and get secured with these long HM screws. If I have everything lined up right, I believe this screw is going to go all the way through. And I guess this is supposed to be able to pivot on this. Yep, and with it all the way through, it actually comes out the inside here, and it still pivots some. Yeah, I guess it wouldn't make any sense for that pin to go in there, so okay. Yeah, like I say, I don't have lots to talk about. I guess I'm just kind of building this quietly. Really need to get some background music for this channel, I guess. Looked into it a little bit and talked to a couple of my friends here, musicians, see if they wanted to contribute anything, so we'll see what happens. Might get there, might not. Might just use the stuff that YouTube provides, though I don't really think any of that makes great background music. Gotta look into how you use that. I'm not sure if you download it or if you actually have to add it through their editor. If it's download and add, that's fine. That's easy to do. My video editing program is pretty straightforward for adding stuff like that. Okay, so well, the one side being quite a bit tighter than the other. Don't know why. That's our assembly so far. Now this is going to get these kind of wing bracket pieces. Make sure I orient this the right way. And then that's going to go on. So this is going to go on such that the screws we already put in are still accessible. And that's going to get screwed on the other two posts. And that's just going to go back to those DM screws. And I'm going to need 2 per side. And then 2 more to hold on the extra panels. So I'll just grab a bunch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Grab 1 more. 6. And attach these. Yeah, so this. These screw in really easy, jeez. Wish most of it was like this. There's 2, just tighten those down. Nice and secure. We get the other side, do the same thing. And this is the, as I said, this is going to be the motor mount. So this is going to go in the rear of the car, because the DeLorean DMC-12 was a rear mount engine car. I think it was originally designed with the intent of it being a mid-engine, but they had some redesigns along the way, and they didn't end up there. If you're not familiar, the DeLorean's design cycle was like an absolute mess. They wanted to do a whole bunch of things that weren't really technically feasible at the time, or certainly not in the price range they were talking about. They brought in a guy from Lotus, and he told them to throw out a bunch of stuff unless they were only going to make a handful of cars and sell them as supercars. You know, you're never going to get this done at scale and at cost, that kind of thing. So, okay, so that's with the next bit of mounts on. Now the next pieces are actually going to fill in these hollows and cover up these screws so that you won't see them. You can probably tell there's a little screw post right on the inside there that's going to secure it. So most of the screws will be invisible, though not all. So these are not symmetrical because these pieces are not. So you take the ones that actually fit, and they just sort of snap, not snap in, but fit in, and then get secured with one screw. Okay. Now since it's only one screw, there's really no point in not just securing it all the way as best I can, because it's not like it's got any other alignment to do. Okay. Just get a little tight. Alright. Come on. And after this, I think the only step left is to actually attach it to the frame, because that's the end of the parts tray. So I don't know, you guys don't talk to me, so like what's going on? What's up with you guys? What are you guys doing? Obviously not building, you know, a DeLorean. The screw wants to chew itself out. Minor installation problem here, folks. Luckily, there's like lots of spare screws. I want to replace it with one that's not all chewed up. Well, let's get the spudger in here. There we go. Yeah, that screw didn't go in right for some reason, so I'm going to replace that. Call that my first real spare use. I'm going to try to pre-thread it in before I put that bit of plastic in case it was the plastic getting in the way. Hopefully I don't find myself with an exact count of screws on this, but I don't think so. I think they gave me a bunch of spares here. Maybe they're aware that these chew up. Maybe I was using a bad size screwdriver for this before. No, I still prefer that. Some of it is because it's really tough to get the screwdriver aligned in here. It doesn't really want to go in straight, because you're hitting this other piece. Okay, so let's try this again. Fits through that just fine, so that's good. Yeah, that's better. First one, it didn't want to clear at all. It was barely cutting into the space, and it was really jammed up. And in the process, the screw head got eaten. So, all right, that's better. So that. Now, with 4 DM screws, yeah, I got plenty, so that extra one is fine. This is going to get secured on the underside, it looks like, of the frame. So, it's going to get attached to these points on the frame, but from the bottom. Oh, well, it fits on from the bottom, and then it gets screwed on from the top. Okay, 4 more DM screws. Move this slightly. And that's going to leave me with, what, 4 spares? 2 spares. So, are good. These are much easier access than those ones that were inside the frame. So yeah, obviously these armatures on the side are going to be attached to the drive wheels, part of the suspension there. And I do have more suspension kits coming up. I think that's next week is a suspension piece. I think I have, in the next 3 weeks, 2 suspension pieces and another tire. So I suspect after that we will get another tire. And then from there, the suspension will go on, and then we'll start building the rest of it. But, I don't know, room for surprise. I haven't watched ahead on anybody else building this past this point. So, I don't know at what point the actual engine starts going in. We do have that coming up shortly on our Ghostbusters build. Wednesday's build will be the first bit of the engine and transmission. So that'll be kind of neat. And next Saturday, like I say, I think we're on a bit of suspension for that. So that is our engine mount coming along. So that's in the frame. And that's the front, and I did fix that magnet. The fit on the wheels is still a little loose. They want to flop down into hover mode, but at least the magnet's there, and it does hold. When it's sitting, when it's on the table, no problem. But when you pick it up, the wheels want to flop down like that. And they stay. So, it's not a toy. It's not going to get driven around the living room floor, so I don't really have an issue with that. Just have to be a little careful with it. And it may be that when it's more together, it'll be fine. What I think is the inside fittings get really close to the wheel, so the magnet doesn't hold on as well as you might like. So, anyway, that's the build for this week. That's what your finished assembly should look like. And we'll catch you on the next ones. If you're liking what you're seeing, there's a playlist for the rest of this if you've missed it. I'll put that up in the corner. And if you're interested in Ghostbusters and the Ecto one, I build those on Wednesdays, so I'll put that playlist up in the corner too. Have a good one, guys.